What up, you guys? We are here for our midweek alchemy message. This is when we unpack the work and we look at our approach to how we're working in the process of it all, our spiritual development and soul correction. All right, so from the Wild Unknown alchemy deck, we've got coagulation, followed by the androgyne, and followed by gold. Or androgyny. I was like, is that some Latin way to say androgyny? I was like, oh no, that is actually the word androgyny. Not Julian education. Okay, underneath coagulation, we have the Emperor. Underneath androgyny, we have the Chariot. And under gold, we have Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. Very cool. So this really piggybacks off of our message from last night, where we received our spiritual lessons for the week. And I think that we're really getting this moment of acknowledgement from Spirit saying, I see you, I see your effort, I see your desire, and I see your progress. Because coagulation is a card that describes the alchemical process of things pulling together, particles coming together, liquids becoming solid into gel. So this can depict everything coming together and being solidified. We talk often about the dimensions of reality, and in the next dimension over from our material reality, we have the astral realm. And this is where everything sort of comes into a mixture and is churned in like a soul concrete mix, and then the concrete mix pours down into the material world where it is solidified, where the manifestation is fulfilled, right? So in the context of this reading, I think that this is things taking shape and moving forward. Although there is kind of a twofold meaning to this card, because coagulation, depending on the context of the situation, can lead to, like in its lower octave, being stuck or being stagnant or being stubborn or set in one's ways. However, I think because of everything that we've been going through and our like conscious efforts to be changing ourselves from the inside out, I highly doubt that the main theme of this message is addressing stagnancy and stuck in the mudness, because the rest of the cards suggest movement and achievement. So I really believe that all of our efforts toward self-mastery are coming together, and we are sort of being reborn with a next level of self-possession and self-mastery and sovereignty and free will and spiritual confidence, spiritual certainty in the Creator, and the ability to take risks and leaps and trust life, the ability to act in faith, knowing that the means will be provided. The Emperor isn't just a king over a kingdom. He is a leader, a ruler over many kingdoms. And so when we have the tarot, the Emperor in the tarot, it is like you have mastered a certain level to a certain degree in each of the suits. So you've had some level of self-mastery in the realm of cups, which is the realm of emotions and intuition, We've had some mastery in the realm of fire, which is our spirit and our drive and our willpower and our faith and our motivation, our enthusiasm, our passion. Then pentacles, which is our ability to take action, to be functional within our lives, and to have healthy habits and healthy routines and take good care of ourselves and our environment. And then there is who's left? Swords, our mental landscape. And that is probably the first thing, or the source of all of the other suffering. It starts in our mind. It comes in as a spark of an idea, and we can cling to that idea and feed that idea, or we can choose to let that idea go and feed another idea. And so we have good ideas and negative ideas popping into our head all day long. And so it's up to us to cultivate those thoughts. Before I was an awakened person, I felt and I thought that I was at the mercy of my thoughts. And I had a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear and a lot of things plaguing my mind. And my thoughts would drive me into getting really worked up, and I would have dress rehearsed these dramas that never happened. And basically my thoughts would affect my feelings. My feelings would become moods. Moods would last for days and weeks. And so eventually, you just start to become an unhappy person. And I remember at one point being so just full of turmoil inside that I remember writing on a Post-it one time, I want to be able to have joy for no reason. And that seemed like a far off dream. It seemed like a fantasy and a laughable one. And now I have a completely different consciousness, and most days I do feel joy for no reason. And it's not to say that I am never challenged with sadness, with grief, with anger, with any of the other things, but my whole mindset, my whole consciousness was completely turned around since that time because of the devotion to keep at it, to practice awareness of my thoughts and cultivate the kind of consciousness that would start yielding the kind of environment that would reflect back fulfillment. And so when our thoughts are out of whack, that affects our feelings. And then when our feelings are all over the place and we don't have enough wisdom about our feelings can control us and dictate us. And ideally, we want to witness our feelings and feel them and be informed by them, but not controlled by them. We want to be emotionally sober enough to make sovereign choices that we can learn from what our feelings are telling us about a situation and still be able to use our reason to make a judgment call, right? We're not completely controlled by those feelings. So if our feelings, are out of control and our thoughts are out of control, then we're not going to be very motivated, because we're going to be spending our energy and we're going to be draining ourselves of all of those, chemicals in our nervous system. And so we're not going to have a lot of motivation. We're not going to have a lot of confidence in ourselves because we're all over the place. We're not consistent. We're not stable. We haven't built upon the rock, right? And if we, we're not feeling it, and we're not motivated, and we're not confident in ourselves, and we're plagued with negative thoughts, then our actions, all of that vibration of nastiness is going to be in the seed of every action that we take. So our actions are going to be unsuccessful. We're going to have a little bit of chaos. Things are not going to go smoothly. We're not in flow. So we're not going to be taking fruitful action. Even if we try, there's going to be this underlying chaos interwoven within the efforts that we make, if we get to make them at all. By then, a person would probably be unmotivated and, teetering in depression, if not in full depression, and then not taking action. And then that spirals into self-loathing because you feel the anxiety of wanting to take an action, but you're not. And so then it breaks you down and it fills you with dread and you don't trust yourself anymore. So all of this stuff, right? Except we have been doing the work and we have risen above that. We've transcended our former state, where in that state we were completely ruled by the body consciousness of wanting to receive for the self alone, receive instant gratification, please make it better, whatever it takes to fix it kind of thing. And now it's like we have risen, we've transcended above that. And we can appreciate the challenges as well as the fulfilling times and the harmonious times. And so things have come together. So that realm, the astral realm, where the mixture is made, our mixture is being made strong now. And we are pouring that foundation and we're building our house upon the rock, where we have a solid, stable nervous system. We have faith and certainty in the Creator, that the Creator, no matter how bleak things seem, He's never going to let us completely fall out of His hands, right? Everything is, playing out in a precisely orchestrated way to reveal the light of our soul and to transcend our weaknesses and our darkness. So the circumstances may look one way, but they can change at the last second. Or the challenge that we're going through right now may twist in such a way that it exalts us into an achievement or a victory over that challenge. But what the secret is to maintain understanding that the Creator is within all things, and that there can be a purpose served in all things, but it takes our participation with our free will to choose to make it so. I believe it was last night we were talking about like our parent tikkun, the soul correction we have to do in regards to parent healing. And the fact that our parents that we're given parents that are going to have challenges. We're going to have challenges with those parents, but the challenges can actually lead to our ultimate greatness if we can have the right consciousness around it. But those difficulties with our parents can also serve to tear us apart and destroy us and break us down if we have that consciousness about it. So it all comes down to the consciousness that we choose and we practice cultivating. It's not really a one and done. It's something that we have to be devoted to and dedicated to and keep showing up. And we have, and there's evidence of it in this reading. So I love that. So here we are, the Emperor. We have established a level of maturity in the various kingdoms, the core pillars of our life. And because of that, we are... we have established a certain level of authority over ourselves, not looking for someone else's permission or validation. And we are going out there and making it happen and consciously co-creating this new chapter in our life. We're capable to do it now. So very good. We don't want to slip into the tendency of that Emperor, though, to be overly controlling or micromanaging or domineering or a tyrant, right? So we don't want to try to control our life to the point where we choke the life out of it either. So right now there's a lovely balance happening, and that is reflected in this androgyny card. And this androgyny card is talking about the balance of feminine and masculine energy. Well, on a spiritual level, this is the alchemical wedding of the divine feminine becoming in balance with the divine masculine, and they come together. You know, the symbol of the upright triangle and the inverse triangle coming together in the 6-point star. That is the alchemical wedding and the marriage of the masculine and the feminine, which also depicts the vehicle for our light body, right? So when we have this merge of the masculine and feminine within us, it's like our soul, our spirit is in a whole state. We are harmonious. And this is when our spirit, our soul becomes connected with our spirit and we reconnect with the Creator. We reconnect with the divine. And then in that connection with the creator, we are in the flow of harmony and in the bosom of protection and abundance and fulfillment. And we also are able to merge our lower human carnal self with our divine self by transcending the carnal instincts and elevating those until where we can be fully human and fully divine without being controlled by the body consciousness and our ego. So what is the masculine and what is the feminine? So the feminine part of the self is it's the intrinsic realm. It's the soul. It's our feelings. It's our intuition. It's our direct connection to the creator. The feminine within us is our essence. It's the unique expression that comes through in our being and in the way that we make people feel, right? And the feeling you get when you're around us, it's the essence of a person. It's the spiritual nature. It's our ability to receive divine guidance and trust that and believe it. Our divine masculine part of our nature is our external expression of our spiritual essence. And so this is our drive and our desire and our ability to take action on our dreams, on our creativity, on our feelings, and to act on that divine guidance. When we feel prompted and spurred, we can take divinely inspired action. So the masculine is the outer expression of our personality. It's the way that we show up physically in this world and act and move and live within it. It's our, ability to get out there and make it happen, to be the hunter, to go after it, to get at it. And so the female is like the gestation, the creation, the container through which things are created. The masculine is like the thing that fertilizes that creation. And it's like fire, passion, and drive. Well, here we balanced these energies, which is represented in the Empress who was with us yesterday, right? She's in the center of our reading yesterday. The Empress is pregnant, sitting in her field of abundance, all the things that she's been able to create and all the fruit that has come of her labor, and more to come on the way. The Empress represents the perfect balance of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. The Empress has been able to listen to her creativity, follow her creative impulses, follow her divine guidance, and take action. And because of that, she's ready to give birth, and she's surrounded by the fruits of her labor, right? Same with the Chariot card. The Chariot card, when we see the charioteer in traditional tarot work, it's a charioteer that is controlling two horses, a dark horse and a light horse. The dark horse represents our carnal instincts, and the white horse represents our higher mind, our spiritual instincts, our purer self. And so it also represents the masculine energy and the feminine energy. And if those things aren't in harmony, if those things aren't in balance, the chariot, the horses go off their own way and the chariot wrecks and crashes. So the discipline and the balance and the harmony required to be a successful charioteer is the essence of this card and this card together. It's our ability to stay focused and disciplined and have structure and be able to nurture our creativity and take those actions whilst also tending to our house and our home and our comings and goings and the business of the household, tending to our physical well-being and, those around us, taking care of business, taking care of our internal realm, right? Feeding our soul, nurturing our spirit by connecting with the creator. So by doing all of these things, by taking care of all of these important pillars of our life, then and maintaining balance within these things, we're moving forward very quickly. The Chariot is taking off. We're gaining momentum and we're headed towards victory. The Chariot card also mentions that this is early stages of being recognized for one's abilities and talents, and maybe even the beginnings of monetary reward for that. And people are wanting to work with us, right? So opportunities could be coming, but it is as a result of our devotion and dedication and commitment to our self-mastery and to our growing consciousness and to our deepening connection to the Creator. And here we have the gold card, which is the point of the whole alchemical process. It's turning lead into gold. And so this isn't talking about physical material gold. This is talking about the gold of our experience, the gold of our wisdom, of the understanding that we've gained, the gold of our spiritual transformation from the self that I used to be, just, impatient and angry and frustrated and at my wit's end and sad and desperate about, finding answers and feeling so uncertain and out of control and not knowing why, right? That self compared to now, the self-possession that I feel at this point in my life, I have worked 100,000 hours towards that change, that transformation. And that is something of eternal value. This is not something that comes and goes. This is nothing that can be taken away from you. The sparks that you reveal in your soul follow you from lifetime to lifetime. And it's only in this physical incarnation that we can prepare our soul to know how to navigate the afterlife. And so this card, this gold card here, is literally saying we have given ourselves a treasure in that we have given ourselves something of eternal value, that our soul is now forever positively transformed with the light that we've revealed. And so this is the legacy that really counts for something. It's the long-term value, not the instant gratification of the material world. First, we pursued wisdom and healing, and then all of those things come after. If you pursue obsessively like material success, you might get it, but it's gonna fall from your fingertips and it's gonna turn to ash because you don't have the spiritual basis to handle it. It will destroy you somehow, or you won't have like the consistency or the ability to sustain it. So you won't have that vibration to keep it or the self-worth to sustain it. You'll end up self-sabotaging. So it's better to first pursue wisdom and healing and awakening. And when we put our effort into making ourselves more like the Creator by trading our flesh consciousness for Christ-like consciousness, then we begin to open ourselves up to new levels of possibility in life as well. It's like that stuff just follows when we first prioritize our spiritual well-being and our relationship to God, then other favor and blessings follow. But we could be doing all the right things and obsessively working towards a goal and still not having very much luck at it. And it's because there's a leak in our spiritual energy that's just leaking out all of our light because we have gaps, right? Where the ego is getting in and breaking our connection with the Creator through our reactive nature, right? Whether that be being quick to anger or impatience or frustration or temptation or lust or whatever it is. When we become reactive and we're no longer in control, we're no longer the cause, we become reactive, then we break affinity with the light of the Creator. we're not sharing the likeness of the creator anymore. And so then we're dissonant and we're disconnected and we're no longer joined with the creator. So the more like we are the creator, the more affinity we share with the creator, the closer we draw to the creator. And within this state, we then experience blessing and favor and things start working out. So not only are we building that kind of legacy and long-term wealth and value that comes from the spirit, and that's going to follow us after this life. So this is eternal value. We're also going to start seeing the early stages of the beginning of the material value that is going to follow. When we transform on the inside, eventually our outer expression is going to reflect that. We are always striving towards vibrational truth. So the material world reflects what is vibrationally demonstrated, right? And if we're changing and we're transforming inside, that means our frequency is shifting. And it's only a matter of time before the outer circumstances of our life starts to shift and change to reflect those inner changes. So I'm loving it. We've got gold, y'all. The lead has been turned to gold. And it's not a one and done. It's not like, oh, we've arrived. Like it's ongoing. We're always needing to be polished and maintained. But we have achieved a certain level and we are in like a talisman moment. So I feel like all week, both of our readings so far, the universe has really been, kind of giving us a pat on the back, and our participation trophy and like our ribbon, or like, we've been knighted. Like we've made it through the initiation, and this is our last few days within the Ben HaMatzarim as well. So these 3 weeks have been like the most challenging 3 weeks of the year. And so over these 3 weeks, anything that's been coming up that's triggered us has been an opportunity to do healing during a time that will yield exponential results. So after the challenge comes the boon, the achievement. The end of the race is near and we're about to go through the finish line. It's very exciting. So I think really good things are coming. I think we're going to be blessed for our efforts. All right, y'all. Well, tomorrow is Thursday. And I'm off tomorrow. So I will either be filming our weekly romance oracle message, or I might preemptively film our full moon workshop, depending on how the day goes and what I decide to do. But I think that'll be best because I'm anticipating probably not making a video on Saturday. All right, you all. Yeah, there was, not only am I going to be at the festival all day, starting in the morning with brunch, but later in the night when everybody gets off of work on Saturday, one of our coworkers is leaving. So we're having drinks for him to see him off. So, I mean, I can only imagine I'm not going to probably be in any state to make a video. I will not be a proper vessel at that point. So we'll try to make something tomorrow instead. All right. Well, I'll see y'all then. Peace.